done if he didn't move on. Get out of here. The sheriff followed Josie's jail from Kansas City West. He said he put a bullet right
that you
through
have
old
there.
Josie's chest.
What do you play? What kit do you play?
Okay, Bob Soleil, what kind of kit you got there? No, okay, so anyhow, just to straighten it out, I'm John Cristando. And I play drums. I play drums. So my kit basically is it's a custom kit that I built. I've been building my own drums for many years, and you know, I could buy drums, but it's no fun. I'd rather build them. So these are actually built by me. This is a custom drum. Pretty cool, huh? So that's what I do.
You build them yourself.
That's what I do in my spare time. Yes, but I'm not
You
learning.
sell those.
When I'm practicing Tarkus, I'm building drums.
Or building cars.
Or building cars. I build stuff. What can I say?
What do you sell them?
No. It's not a business. It's just strictly for my use. It's for my enjoyment. And the enjoyment. What's that, Dyanne?
Very good.
I think
very good and outstanding.
Very good, enjoyable.
And how long have you been playing?
Well, I started when I was 8, but I won't tell you how old I am. So I won't tell you how long I've been playing, but I've been playing since I'm 8. Let's put it that way.
You're about 10 now.
I'm about 10, yeah. So I've been playing a couple of years. Let's put it. Yeah, I kind of grew up with this problem of drumming. Don't know why, don't know how, just came about, one of those things. And then Rob, I think I met up with Rob Shepard, and I was maybe 11. Was that the case?
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
11?
Yes.
Yeah, no, John and I met up in 19...
That's a long relationship.
Yeah.
We met up in 1976.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, we have Nigel too.
I remember I was going to Nassau Community College, and I remember seeing an ad for this band Spartacus that was playing. And Spartacus did Emerson, Lake and Palmer. They did the Tubes, Bowie, and they were just an amazing band. And somebody said, you have to go see them. And I went down, and Little John was drumming. They were just an incredible band. I started following them. So I would go down, instead of doing homework at night, I'd be going down to the bars to see where Spartacus is playing.
Yeah, that's and you did the right thing.
Well, the school's not really helping me too much now, so I absolutely did the right thing.
What good is an education when you can play music, right?
Good point.
It's funny how people come together like that too.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So for my going down, I got to know that.
Sometimes I think you got a part of that born in you, you know, that just goes, this is how I can know how to do it, and the rest is just a learning experience.
Yeah, and actually, the three of us have had a connection many years ago, because I've shared the stage with Rob Soleil back in the 70s, and he was in another band, but we would play the same club, 2 different stages on the same night. So we all go back into the 70s. And I think I was 2 years old back then, Rob, wasn't that the case?
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
You were
Two, maybe 2.5. Yeah,
a child prodigy.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Wow. And you know what? Going over to Robert Shepard, you've been playing the keyboards for how long?
Truthfully, I've been playing since I was 4. I started piano lessons at 4. My dad was a music teacher, and he knew that my ear was really good, so he started me on piano lessons. I took lessons for a long time, classically trained. So I've been playing for what, 50, 56, 57 years.
So
I never thought I'd be
57
alive
plus
for
4.
Never thought I'd be alive for 57 years.
Yeah, I know. And still playing.
You must have learned quite a bit, Robert, over those years. Just from not just the technical, yeah, and I'm thinking that it's not just the lessons and the practice, but it's really all about too the experiences when you go on stage for the first time and you start developing your own rapport and your own way of wanting to show yourself on stage and how you play. And I think that when you get into that arena, sure, the lessons come right into play, of course, but also your personality starts to really form when you start getting in front of an audience, I think. My personal opinion, I could be so wrong, and do correct me if I am.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. The stage presence, the stage persona really doesn't develop until you're actually on stage. It's not the sort of thing that you can really learn. You know, when I take piano lessons, I'm not learning about stage presence. I'm not learning about presentation. I'm really just learning the technical aspect of playing.
Yeah.
It took me, and truthfully, I spent a lot of time playing in bars and clubs and doing parties, weddings, bar mitzvahs for years before I was able to actually play on large stages. So the Manticore thing, before Manticore, I was in a band that was doing a Genesis tribute. And that was really the first time that I was playing on large stages. So I had to really kind of bring all the training together and try and put together a stage persona and figure out exactly how I was going to present myself. So it's a recent thing for me. John, on the other hand, I used to watch him play and I was just amazed because he had such personality behind the drums, just flipping the sticks and the power. And so he's been on big stages since I was in college.
Oh, you're trying to say I'm older than you? That the idea? Is that what you're saying? Is that what I'm getting out of this? Oh, well, thank you. But
Never.
yeah, thank you. It was back in the 70s, you know, we had the band I was with, we had a pretty good local success, and so we got to play some stages, and it was a lot of fun.
I'm gonna jump in for a second because we have some viewers.
We have some questions.
Well, I know that we have, let's see, David Harris is tuning in. We have Nigel Hewitson. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hi from the UK. We have Jack, I'm really bad with last names. Sismantos, Sismantos, and that's a big hello. And I do have some questions that I think I sent over to you earlier. Did you get those?
Yes, we did.
Are you ready to dive in, or can I ask the first question?
Ask away.
Okay,
David Harris had some questions.
all right, here we go. I'm putting on my glasses. Shows my age. Yes, David Harris has some great questions. But what I wanted to make sure we did talk about is that with Bob Soleil has a great story about his first experience with the guitar, and then a very great story about how he switched from the guitar to the bass.
Is Bob Soleil there?
Hold on, I'm gonna put him on, hold on, I'm gonna put him on speaker. This way we can at least
Okay,
hear.
yeah, we are having a little difficulty with
Rob?
I know.
Do you see me, John?
Yes, we all
Call
see
me.
you, we just can't hear you, so I have you
Yeah.
on my phone, so you could speak.
I'll switch to sign language.
Okay, if you could do that. All right, go ahead, we can hear you, Rob.
All right, so how I switch to bass?
Okay, here we go.
Not that big a deal. I was in a band, and we had no bass player. Oh, I gotta turn this down.
Oh, jeez. Oh, madam. Okay, let's try again.
I'm sorry, I gotta turn this down.
All right, turn it down. Either or record that sound. That's a cool sound. We could use that.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Almost a little bit of a move there, right?
Are you hear me now?
Yeah, we good. You're good now, Rob.
Okay. All right, so I was in a band, like high school.
Yes, we can hear you.
For Rob. Yeah, he just keeps feeding back on echoing. I don't know what to do here.
Okay.
Okay. I got this down, so hopefully it won't feed back. No, it's feeding back.
Feeding.
Let me change the microphone.
I'm gonna be like, let's all be like real quiet.
How's that?
So
Can
far,
you hear me now?
yes.
Oh, you can?
Well, no, I got you on the phone, but it's not feeding back. It's good.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm in a band. We have no bass player. And somebody had this big clunky Mosrite guitar with big strings on it. And the B and E string were missing. So I said, I'm a big Paul McCartney fan, so let me try bass. And so someday I'm going to learn how to play it.
Someday, I hope someday soon.
Yeah.
Because we got gigs, man. You better learn.
But yeah, that's how it happened. Unfortunately, I stopped playing guitar when I switched to bass. But I've been getting back into it.
But with Manticore, actually, Rob is playing both bass and guitar.
Yes.
So he's back on both.
So now he's relearning. He's relearning how to play guitar.
Yeah. Yep. And what was the other thing that the other story?
I was interested in your story about how you went from guitar to bass.
Oh, well, that was it.
Short story. It was one of those short stories.
It's the story of how you switched from guitar to bass.
Yeah, I was in a band. We had no bass player, so I switched over, and I've been playing bass ever since. I thought I said that already.
I thought that was an echo. You mean you said it once or you
We
said it
have a
twice?
delay. We have a delay.
Yes, yeah, that's how it happened. Strange but true. So and
Anyway, I'm really lucky to have found Bob Soleil because the fact that he's able to play guitar and bass allows us to take Manticore and bring it to the next level and approach ELP from the way they approached it as a 3-piece. So we've been doing this as a 4-piece for the last 3 years, and now we're doing it the right way.
right, so we can make more money now, each guy.
Well, we don't make money, Bob. I forgot to tell you.
Oh, you didn't get that memo, Rob? That there is no money involved in this?
It's the love of music, the
It
love of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, the legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically why we're doing this. So we say it all the time. It's our love, a love for that band, a love for this music, a love for playing, and it's just
Yes.
we play. It's just awesome. It's great. It just feels so good. So we're really having a great time with this.
Yeah.
This is music that we've listened to for so many years, and to finally be able to play it together on one level is astounding, but the other level is to be able to play it together well enough that we can present it to people that appreciate it. I think it just brings it up to an even higher level. So now we just have to be able to go out and find venues that'll open up so we can play for you.
Yes, and then tell Rob, I guess you can give him a little bit of a preview or verbal preview about the new video that we have coming out.
Oh yeah. It's first 3 minutes are really boring, but it gets better.
So hang for the first 3 minutes, please.
No.
Okay, is this an exclusive announcement?
We did Jerusalem, and yeah, it came out really well, but we're having some problems with the syncing, so we got to work that out.
Yeah, this technology thing,
I
man.
can give you a sneak preview. Hold on.
And what we're also going to do with Jerusalem is we're going to release 2 versions so that we have just the music, and then we'll have the cinematic approach to Jerusalem.
Oh, nice.
For anybody that has some spare time on their hands.
Rob Soleil, can we see that? Let's check that out.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
That's gonna be fabulous.
Go outlasted.
Do you know when you will be releasing that video?
Next couple of days.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, will you be releasing that on the Titans site?
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll bring it to the Titan site, but I do want to put it on the Manticore site first. It's just a proprietary thing. But
Sure. And I'm sure you want to get that up on your YouTube as well.
Titans will be the second place we bring it to, I promise.
Yeah, we like to put it on the Manticore website first and then share it from there. So it all comes back to Manticore.
Okay. I like that. I like that a whole lot.
So with the quarantine, with the whole COVID thing,
Yes.
we went over 3 months.
We should
without-
all be wearing our masks.
Well, there's nobody close to me. except H.R. Giger's wife in back of me. But we went for about 3 months without playing at all, playing together. And it was really difficult. So Bob had this idea of why don't we put videos together? And they're slow in coming, but we did the sheriff already. Jerusalem's almost done. We have Hoedown has been started. So we'll have Hoedown coming pretty soon.
Oh, boy.
And we're gonna try and keep putting videos out there, because the more we put out for you guys to listen to, the more it spreads the love and spreads the legacy. And that's what we're all about.
I love it.
So anybody, you said Nigel
Well,
is?
we learn more about Manticore, how Manticore plays, what songs Manticore enjoys playing, because there's a lot of us on the West Coast that don't get to see you unless we fly out.
Well, hopefully we'll be flying to you
Oh, if you do,
in the near
South
future.
California, Southern
Yeah, 'cause
California.
gonna start
I love-
creating drum sets that he can sell, and he's gonna finance our tour.
That would just absolutely blow a lot of people's minds. That really would.
Well, I've spoken to a lot of West Coasters, and usually what I say is, it's easier for you to come to New York to see us. We're
I
very
know
welcome
that.
here. We'll put you up if you come out to visit, and we'll make it as easy as possible. But it's easier for you to come to see us than it is for us to go out there and play.
Yeah, I think Rob Soleil, he offered his home, didn't he, for anyone who wants to come out,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Okay, good.
I'll sell a couple of guitars and there'll be room here.
Perfect.
Well, I've offered up my home. I've had people, Nigel Hewitson was originally supposed to be coming out here in April to see our show in New Jersey. And then the virus hit and all travel plans got canceled. But he was going to be staying at my place for a week. I've had guests from out of state come to see the band, and they've stayed. Our first show, I had a friend from Hungary that came out to see us.
Oh, wow.
So we have viewers from all over the world. If you need a place to stay when you come here, we'll find a place for you to stay.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys come to Southern California.
If we could do a
And
tour.
you know
yeah.
what? If you need a place to stay when you come to Southern California, right here, I'm between San Diego and LA. You
Oh,
can't
boy.
beat it.
Oh, man, perfect. You might not be able to get rid of us.
Well, I hope not, because, you know, you guys get a nice home cooked dinner. You guys get great conversation, and I would be like honored. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. You're always invited. You know, you're always invited. There's a great club here too. I think you guys would really fit in well with, called the Belly Up. It's really good. But let me just say this. We have some people that have been talking, and we have David Harris who says, Jerusalem, I'm excited, can't wait to check it out, exclamation point, exclamation point. We have Nigel Hewitson, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Nigel, excuse me if I'm not. As soon as the coronavirus is over, I'm there, Rob.
Nice.
That could go for me too. I may not be able to wait. There's some questions that David has asked. Why don't we go into some questions?
Sure.
And I don't know who wants to take the floor on that.
Well, depends on the question.
Well, I think his first question, I remember that Dyanne sent me some. How long has the band been together?
Okay, Rob, that's you.
Well, I've got some background on this, so I guess I'll answer it.
Yes, that's you.
We started in 2017. Actually, when Keith passed, I started, our first bass player said, listen, Keith is gone, and you've been talking about setting up a tribute show for ELP for years. You really should start thinking about it. And then Greg passed. And he said, listen, Bob, today is the day that you have to just shit or get off the pot. And it was Ed's influence that got me to start looking around for a singer, looking around for a guitarist. He decided he was going to play bass. Now, Eddie Wenzel was a bass player that played R&B. He was a blues player, but he learned to play bass, play prog bass for this. The band took a lot of doing just to pull together, but in the first incarnation, we played out for about 2.5 years. And then things just started shifting around because Eddie moved down to North Carolina, and we brought in another bass player that came and went. And then Glenn, our original drummer, decided to move on to greener pastures. So I had to start looking for qualified musicians that could fill the gaps. And I think I did a great job finding the musicians because John Cristando is one of the most qualified drummers I know. And he's been wanting, he was so pissed off that he wasn't in the first go around. And
I remember I told you if it's not me, you better be talking to Glenn Dove because it's one of the two of us.
So I still feel the heat for that. But when the opportunity finally came around, I made sure to call you and convinced you that you wanted to do this.
Yeah. Is that why? Is that why
No. It's going to haunt you.
Thank you.
But it's John is an incredibly qualified drummer, and I'm so glad to be playing with him. And Bob Soleil.
And you know what, too? John.
Yes, ma'am.
John is absolutely incredible. He has a voice.
You gotta hear my voice. It's amazing.
I love you, twirling.
We wanted to hear your voice, but John doesn't sing.
Very nice.
Don't want to hear my voice.
John does play drums. Bob Soleil has a great.
The guy that you can't hear sings.
Well, Bob is also playing with other projects, and I didn't know what an amazing voice he had until I saw him doing a Beatles show.
Really?
And he's got an amazing voice, in addition to playing guitar and bass. So he when he got involved in this project, I didn't realize that he was going to be playing as big a part as he does now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's like such a close.
Yeah, so he's working really hard to get all the material down, and he's trying to get all of Greg's vocal inflections. And having a Long Island accent really makes it hard to get that British thing coming through. But he's working on it. Bob, give us some British.
Yeah, can we hear a little tune?
Yeah.
Or-
Hey, go ahead, go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Then he was a bastard at the palette dance. He slapped
Here we
the
go.
Keep
Keep going.
Throwing it back to pieces. Almost doesn't have a quit. He thought he was a leader until
Yep.
it was savage shit.
And he's shy.
He's quiet. Station break.
John, I mean, I'm looking at you, John, but I'm seeing Robert, so I'm getting the two of you guys. Yes, station break. Yes. Bob Soleil, what an amazing voice you have. It's so amazing. When I saw the sheriff, I was like, can you hear?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Well,
I was literally blown by your voice. Just, and the way you can, how would you say, mimic? It's not mimicking, but you've got your voice going like Greg had, and you're putting all the the crescendos and all of those things in the right places, and it's fun, and you're making it really fun like Greg did.
Yeah, well, we're just trying to get that sound, So I listen to it a lot, So
And you should, and
that's what you got to do.
and you should get the credit for doing all the sort of production and sort of mixing on all that stuff, because that after we each do our part, it goes in Rob Soleil's hands, and he's been creating this whole sound, and it's doing a great job. Big part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Except for the beginning of Jerusalem.
Wow, you've been doing all the producing and all the editing and all the put together stuff for the final.
Well, I enjoy that. I just got a new Apple computer, which I don't know how to use yet, but the software is very good, the music software. So I've been doing it in that, and my son actually does the video part of it. So he did a good job on the sheriff.
Eric did a great job. He did a great job on the sheriff.
And Bruce good too. We will see in a couple of days.
I'll tell you what, that video on the sheriff is absolutely fabulous. If anyone has not seen that yet, go check that out. And now
Yes,
Jerusalem.
go. Tell them how they can check that out, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. After the interview, everybody should go check out the sheriff.
Where
I'm
can we go to
telling
see
you,
that?
Your local
you
sheriff.
guys will be in for a treat.
Rob Shepard, how do people see
You got
that?
to on YouTube, on the Manticore's channel, and I know that I went and checked it out. I think you have 2 videos on the sheriff. Is that correct, or am I confused and just thinking about the one? The one I'm thinking about that people should see is the one where you did the whole video with the whole beginning and the mask over the face and.
Yeah, that video is listed as the quarantine mix. But you can see that on the Manticore Facebook page. You can find it on YouTube. You can also go to the website. The website is manticoreny.com. So check us out on the website too.
Hi, Dyanne.
Thank you, because it is an amazing video. We have, let me see, Nigel, as a Barb myself, I approve of Bob's British accent version of Benny the Bouncer. Nigel also says, also check out the concert on the Drive.
Oh, the concert on the driveway.
Driveway.
Oh,
Yeah, that was fun. The police showed up.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, we hadn't practiced for months. So I figured the best thing to do, let's go outside. Going outside was John's idea initially. We were going to do it in John's backyard. And I figured, well, I've got so much freaking equipment to bring. Let's see if we can do it in my driveway. This way I don't have to lug all my stuff over to John's house. So we set up everything in my driveway. The drums were there. John brought his drums, his gong. You brought both gongs, didn't
I
you?
wanted to be a neighbor. I wanted to be a next door neighbor.
I would have been very happy to have you as a neighbor.
Yeah.
I'd
People
have
We're
been
not
holding
gonna
up
be Farmer
signs,
fans.
honk if you love Manticore, balloons, red balloons. I
Well,
would
the
have
people down the
loved
block
that.
are not Emerson, Lake and Palmer fans.
I'd have passed out flyers. Are you kidding me? I'd have put a little hat on, Manticore hat on, and I would have just boom, boom, boom. You know what? It brings me to a question. I know that when you talk about the songs, the tribute songs that you are doing that are of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, that you don't take that credit for Emerson, Lake and Palmer's music.
No.
And I believe that, but what my question is coming through to is, have you thought about t-shirts, some kind of apparel that we could promote, like wear with pride?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You froze over here.
T-shirts.
Could you
Not a
repeat
good
that?
idea.
I don't think Rob heard that, Dyanne. You got,
Oh. I would love to see Manticore t-shirts or Manticore long sleeve shirts, just something nice that says Manticore on there, maybe says tribute to Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Maybe if you're doing a tour, put the tour on the back, just like anyone else would. But I think that people would want to buy those all across the world. I really do.
Well, we do have t-shirts and we have hats that we sell at the shows, and really it's just to get the name out there, and I'll send you a shirt. As a matter of fact, I sent a shirt to Nigel last year on the condition that he wore it to a Noddy's Puncture show.
Perfect. I'm going to PM you guys, and I'm going to say,
Well, I'll get a t-shirt out. Would you prefer a t-shirt or a hat?
oh, no way. Oh my gosh, is he going to do it?
Sure, but would you prefer a hat or a t-shirt?
I dare him. I double dare him.
Still talking about Nigel.
Oh, about Nigel. Yeah, well, he posted a picture of him wearing the Manticore t-shirt at a Noddy's Puncture show.
You got to take pictures. That's all I'm saying. You got to take pictures.
You can have it already.
I love love it. So I love it because that's like saying, then we represent Manticore for our own selves, but we also support Nadi's puncture. I think it's like putting, I don't know, salt and pepper together. You know, it just goes. It's just right. They're different, yet they mean the same thing. It's a tribute to Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And it's people like yourself, all of you, Robert, John, Bob, it's all of you that do your work, your time that you take to practice and trying to put things together. That's a lot of work. And you're doing it all in the name of ELP and helping people like myself and many, many others that love ELP and don't want to see it die. You're keeping it alive. You're keeping us enthused. You're making us want to go out there and see you guys in person because you drive us. You drive the inside of ELP that's in all of us. And we're like, we have to go check you guys out. There's no question because you guys are great. I love your back. I love what's behind you, Robert Shepard. Love what's behind you. That is a great backdrop. And you're just complete. You're just so complete. And by the way, the talent you guys have, each one of you bring to the table an amazing individual amount of talent that goes, it blends so well that when I hear you play ELP, anything ELP, I can close my eyes and that's what I hear. I'm hearing ELP and it makes me go back in time to 1970, you know, all over again when it all began. And it is people like you that I take my hat off to and humbly thank for your dedication and your hard work. I truly mean that. And I know that my members would say the same thing.
Thanks. You know, that was really our goal from the beginning, just to recreate the music. And I just wanted to bring up, when I mentioned Nadi's puncture, I want you to realize that there is no competition here. We don't compete with anybody else. We totally appreciate Nadi's puncture, Tarkus, the Manticore over in Italy. There are a couple of other ELP bands, and I want to promote them as much as I want to promote us because
Sure.
it's all about the legacy.
Absolutely.
And there are so few bands doing this. There are so few places that you can see Emerson, Lake and Palmer live. And I am so glad that Carl Palmer is still touring with the Carl Palmer legacy, with Simon Fitzpatrick and Paulie Bilatovich. They're just incredible. And I don't want to take anything away from any other ELP bands. I think we all need to be doing this. This is just a spectacular opportunity to bring Emerson, Lake and Palmer to people that either never got to see a show or saw a show and wanted to reminisce, or they were just too young and they didn't know about it. So this just gives us and all the other ELP bands an opportunity to bring this amazing music to you.
You know, I don't mean to interrupt.
That's okay.
He's done.
Yes. And I want you to know that as you support all of the Emerson, Lake and Palmer tribute bands, there is something very special about each one of you, because each one of you have your own style, have your own way of playing songs, and have your own performance. And so you can go to any ELP tribute band and you'd get something different out of it when you were done. You'd be walking out with that big smile on your face, but you all still have your unique piece that I think separates everybody. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, Naughty's Puncture has one type of way of doing things. Manticore has another way of doing things, and so on and so on. And I like that because it's still a variety, and it is also still a tribute to the greatest band to me on the planet, which was Keith Emerson, Greg Lake, and Carl Palmer. And thank God for Carl Palmer and his legacy band, because I have seen that many times. Paul is great. Simon is great. Great people to meet. And it was such a intimate feeling, like to right there, you know, to right there. And Robert Berry and his 3.2 band, you know, they play a lot of the ELP bands as or songs as a tribute as well. And they do their own interpretation, and they play the song, but they throw in their own little style and their own little change switches and timing switches and whatnot, and which really kind of makes you go, oh, that was cool, you know. And you can listen to the crowd around you in a club, and if you think about really listen to them, they all sound like you were in a line in 1970 with your ticket in your hand, and every single person in that 1,000 people line is all talking the same thing their own way. You know, what are the lyrics to this? Wait a minute, no, I think the lyrics are this. And, you know, it's just little things. It's the little things that reminds me of just throwback for me. Throwback to listen to the crowd. The audience, I think, is just as important as the band too, because we're all together. We're all like one family.
Absolutely. I think you put it very well.
Shall we go to some questions from
If there are any
David?
questions, we'd love to answer them.
All right, why don't you go ahead and start? You have, I think, 4 questions or 5. You gonna let me do it? Okay, you gotta let me do it. Okay, no worries. I'll bring it up. Okay, here we go. And here we go for David. The first question. Hang on, the first question that I have is number 1. How long have they been together? I think you answered that.
I think we answered that before. That was since.
That's what I was thinking too.
2017.
Number 2, was the band always called Manticore? That's a really good question.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I hate one-word answers, but
And then number 3, what age did all of you start as musicians?
I started at 4. John?
Yeah, I was 8.
8. See, so young.
I was
Me
8.
too, 8.
See, I think that's what you have to do. You got to start off like in kindergarten, right? You know?
You know, it's like
yeah.
the drumming called me.
Did you get support from your parents? Did you get a lot of support with wanting to play instrument?
Oh, I did. I definitely did. Yes, all the way.
John, especially you. How
Yeah.
do your parents feel when you wanted to play the drums?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's
They would
wonderful.
look. They would have preferred the violin, but they got the drums, and they were very
Oh,
happy.
yeah. Everybody starts with the violin. I started with the violin, right? And went, this is not for me.
Right. It was not for me. Exactly. Yep.
Well,
No, my
John, your
parents.
family
I was
name
in the
is
5th grade,
Stradivarius. So
and
that
I
right?
asked my parents
Violin.
if I could learn the drums. I wanted to be a girl drummer because I just had that beat that I just couldn't stop. Yeah, yeah. And my parents were like, no, you're not going to bang on a bunch of instruments to wake up all the neighbors and play in the garage all the time so we get to hear pound, pound, pound. I said, I'd be learning though. I'd be learning beats. I'd be learning how to do this. And they go, no, you'd be making a lot of uncomfortable sounds. So that didn't get to happen. That didn't get to happen. But you guys all started out, you guys all had support from your parents, which is, I think, instrumental to moving forward with your careers and developing those when you have that support. Okay, we have another question. Let me see. What was the first instrument you played? And you know who I'm going to. You know who I'm looking at. I am looking at Bob Soleil. I understand. Did we already talk about the story of how you started out with a guitar and ended up with a bass? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it was guitar. But I wanted to play drums in school.
You give me a bottle of water.
But so did everybody else.
Yeah. Everybody wanted to play drums.
That's
I
right.
know, right?
So I played the
Because they're fun.
trumpet.
Yeah, funny thing, when I was in, I don't know, it must have been second or third grade, you were able to join the school music program. And so they asked everyone, what do they want to play? So, I said, drums, like everybody else, drums. But being that everyone wanted to play drums, the music teacher had to come in and say, okay, everyone can't play drums. So he looked at me and said, you got perfect lips for the clarinet. And I said, no. The guy next to me is the clarinet player. I'm the drummer. So I actually talked my way into making sure that I got the drum part. So that was my first introduction.
My daughter threw her clarinet across the room and broke the wall. She was so mad. She said, I'm done.
Well, that's where clarinets belong. They belong against the wall.
I played clarinet in school.
Nigel says there are so few bands who can do this, Rob. So few bands that can do this, Rob.
That's
So very few bands can really pull off, according to Nigel, really can pull it off and make it right. That takes work.
Yes, he's absolutely correct. And that's why we do it, because we can.
Yes,
And
you
it's
can.
no easy
And-
thing.
If you no longer played that instrument, yes, and you'll have to pardon me, I have a 10-second delay. So I'm like hearing everything 10 seconds after you guys start. So pardon me if I'm stepping on you for questions, but I was just going to go with question 5, which is if you no longer played the instrument you're playing now, why would that be?
I'm dead.
Yeah.
Now, let's take everybody one at a time.
Wow.
Robert Shepard, let's start with you.
Well, I've been an aspiring guitarist for maybe the last 10 years. I've never been able to play guitar very well, and I decided since I was buying a lot of guitars, I really should learn how to play them. So I have a little travel guitar that I bring with me every place, and I'm an aspiring guitarist. I'm trying to become one, but I keep graduating back to the keyboards. You know, there's that comfort factor. So if I couldn't play keyboards, I would probably play guitar. John, how about you?
Yeah, I would play guitar. Yeah, not because like I'd want to play guitar, but I think it would be cool to be out there kind of like, you know, shredding and rocking out, you know. That's why. Even like, you know, that's why I play great.
Laughing that
air
real low.
You should see me play air guitar, man. I'm unbelievable. But I would say I would probably also go guitar. I would have to say guitar.
Thank you. Thank
Rock
you,
and roll.
Robert.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert. I played a lot of air keyboards on my dashboard whenever I drive, and I'd be listening to ELP, and you know, I'd be listening to Carnival Line. I'd be like, and people would look at me. My kids would go, "Mom, what are you doing?" And I go, "Hey, man, playing keys, okay? You know, join in." And you know, at a stoplight, I do both hands. I don't care. I'm having the time of my life because I'm in love with the music. I do the same thing with Yes and other bands too, you know, but ELP is what I tried to teach my kids how to play, how to sing. And I taught them Lucky Man for first because it was easy. And even though they were in, I'd say, second and fourth grade, that was hard. But they got it down. Once they got it down, they couldn't stop singing it. It was so funny. And then I tried Carnival Line. They were like, "Mom, there's just too many words." That didn't go over well, so I just sang it. But let's move on here. Now, we still haven't talked to John.
No, Bob.
Oh, wow.
What would you be playing?
Definitely piano. I love piano.
Really?
Yeah. I play a little bit, probably just about as well as Rob plays guitar.
But you know what? You'd both be learning, getting better. And last but not least, Robert Soleil.
I would definitely play piano. I would play piano. Good. I probably play piano as well as Rob plays guitar.
Well,
And tell me something. Would you take lessons from Rob?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
we're
You know
talking.
what? At our next gig, we're going to teach each other how to play our instruments.
And then we can
Okay.
band.
Okay. So John.
Yeah.
John,
Yes.
what you said you would be playing what now?
No, I play air guitar.
I love it.
I'm the air guitar player.
Give us a solo, John.
Oh, you don't want to do that. you don't want to do that.
I have a funny feeling
Tread the air.
percussionists would never ever change instruments.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. You're 100% right.
Yeah, because you just.
It's what I do.
I think it's fun though, right? Way back in the MTV days, right? We were all like in front of the TV trying to mimic Rolling Stones and Billy Idol, you know, trying to. But I have a funny feeling deep down, none of you really would switch ever. I think it would be in your blood and it would be in your heart. And yeah, and you do well. All of you do so well. My personal answer to that question would be, don't change a thing. If you want to learn each other's stuff for shows, and I like that twirling, then that's fine. But I would never want you guys to totally switch and say, I'm not playing keyboards anymore. I'm done. I can't ever picture that in my head. You know, I'm not playing the drums anymore. I'm not playing bass and I'm not singing anymore. I can't place it.
Well, Dyanne, I have to tell you,
Can.
to do what we're doing, we have to be the type of people that enjoy challenging ourselves. And for instance, I've taken the Keith Emerson's playing, and I've challenged myself to try and emulate what he does, how he does it, what his mindset was when he was writing it, what he's thinking. But I'm always trying to challenge myself. And I know the other guys do the same thing. Learning another instrument is just another way of challenging yourself. So
Good point.
I've been trying to learn the Sage on guitar, and I really can't break away from the keyboards to do that. So I count on Bob, who is an amazing bass player, to step up and do some more guitar work. And he's working on things that he never imagined he would be working on. So it's really all about challenging ourselves.
I like that answer.
And then having something to show everybody else.
Oh man, that would be great to hear.
Bob, you done with the Sage yet?
No, can you see me?
I'll sing it if you play it.
Okay.
Oh, from hang on, we have Paul from the EOP Legacy Band. Paul is tuned in, and Paul is saying, "Good choice, guys."
Thanks, Paulie B.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Hi, Paul. Good to have you here. Thank you. That's great. Oh, look at you with the guitar now. Here we go. We're going to get a little, maybe a little bit of, drumming, a little bit of.
I've been drumming. I've been drumming the whole time.
I'm the drummer.
Yeah, that's right. Bob's the drummer.
Hey, Rob, how long has the band been together?
Well, I think I'm going to start doing Tarkus on a melodica. That's the way to do it.
There you go.
You guys are all in the New York City area, correct?
I'm sorry?
I know you can't stop. Yeah, I love it though. I love it. I love watching those sticks. Oh, look at that. Is everybody seeing this? Because
I can't see it.
oh my gosh, that's great. And let's see, Paul. Let me see. David Harris has joined back. Hi, David. Nice to have you back.
Welcome back, David.
And let's see. I want to know, I know we've talked a lot about the virus, and I know that we've talked about how that cramps every musician's abilities to get out there. And you're coming up, all of you are coming up with the most clever ways. You know, Paul has his Patreon page, and he's using that to keep the streaming going, to keep his music going, and to let that out into the world. And I know you guys are working on your videos that you're putting out to the world. I mean, you guys are all figuring out, even Naughty's Puncher, who isn't even close to each other, are figuring out how to join together on video to actually play something and put it out. And so again, I'm humbly saying, amazing, you guys. You guys think outside the box. You guys say, no, we're not going to stop. We're not taking breaks. We're going to keep going. And it makes all of us at the Titan site, all our members, and I'm sure every member of every Emerson, Lake and Palmer group out there, very happy that you guys are all figuring out how to get your music to the people, to everyone who loves ELP and loves you guys as well.
Well, I do have an offering for everybody that follows the Titan page. And I haven't told this to anybody else, but we were supposed to have a show on July 18th out in Patchogue, Long Island. I have a feeling that's going to be canceled. So if it's canceled, we're going to be rehearsing that day, and we're going to live stream that rehearsal.
Yes.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. We'll do it from the Manticore Den, the lair, and we'll broadcast a full show on July 18th.
July 18th.
July 18th.
Everybody make a mark of that.
I just have to work out the logistics of what time we're going to do it and the basic, but that'll be the date.
Oh, we have a.
All right, so John, Bob.
I bet. So in other words, I should check my schedule, huh?
Yeah, I think you should talk to your secretary.
No, my calendar will be free that day. Let me tell you. You know what? Sure. Keep us posted with a time. Yeah, sure. Yeah, to be announced. Now, Paul has a question for Rob. What have you learned about Keith Emerson's style and repertoire from learning so much of his music?
What have I learned about his style?
Did you hear the question? It comes
yeah,
from Paul. And Paul is saying, question for Rob. What have you learned about Keith Emerson's style and repertoire from learning so much of his music?
It's funny because I was classically trained as a kid, but I loved rock and roll. Keith Emerson used all of his classical training to be able to do what he was doing. And whenever you watched him improvise, he was always throwing in bits of Bach, bits of anything that popped into his head. And he did something that I can never do. I'm a good technician. I'm really good at copying other people's sounds and styles. But Keith Emerson was a natural, and he had the music floating around in his head all the time. If he's taking a solo, he would just grab a piece that happened to be floating by and play it. And that's something I'll never have. But at least by learning to play the way he does, I can I can improve my ability to solo and to kind of get more free form in my thoughts while I'm playing, instead of getting locked into just playing by rote and playing exactly the same thing every time.
So true. So true.
So I hope that answers the question, but that's something I learned about watching Keith, that he had so much music floating around in his head and so much classics. I mean, that was the big thing about the Nice. And when ELP first started, they were doing all classical music, but they were making it so bombastic and so huge that it was no longer classical music. They made it their own.
Yes, you know, I think they were one of the first that took the jazz and took the classical.
Well, it was done before, like Bumble Boogie was a variation of Flight of the Bumblebee.
Yes.
Nut Rocker
Oh,
wasn't originally done by ELP. That was from the 50s, but that was originally the Nutcracker Suite.
and
When
Paul is answering to you, Rob. Great answer.
Thank you. I got one right.
Yeah, it was good answer. Good question. Tough question.
Yes, I thought so too.
So it's funny, after listening to, after learning a lot of Keith's music, I wasn't aware that a lot of the songs that they play, I started listening to the original classical pieces that they came from. I never knew that Toccata was originally a classical piece. Knife Edge, The Barbarian.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I never played Bartok before, and when I started playing The Barbarian, that opened doors for me. That was just incredible. But it's ELP really opens doors to classical music, and if you do a little bit of research, if you're new to Emerson, Lake and Palmer, take most of their earlier material and listen to it. It's based on a lot of classical pieces from 100 years ago. It's amazing.
Pictures at an exhibition.
Pictures at an exhibition is a perfect example.
I heard the
Yes.
ELP version of it
Yes.
first.
What was that, Bob?
I heard ELP
Ooh,
doing it first. I love the
Before you heard
Mussorgsky.
before you
I
heard
love
the
the
original?
original. I love the original, but I heard, ELP first.
Mhm.
it is. And you know what Paul says here? He says first thanks. Then he says they got sued for Barbarian.
I didn't know that.
Why did they get sued?
Well, it's probably because of Bartok's family. Because Bartok was around in the early 1900s.
Oh, okay.
But I know when they were doing Fanfare for the Common Man, Aaron Copland originally didn't want Keith played the beginning of their version of Fanfare for Aaron Copland, and he asked for permission to use it. And I said, no, you're not doing anything that I haven't done with it already. Then Keith played the middle part, and Copland was floored. He goes, that does something with my music. Yes, you can use it.
Yeah, yes. And Paul says here, he says, yes.
I'm sorry, what did Paul say?
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Paul is saying about this. Yes, and Paul is also responding by saying that they did not credit Barbarian on the early pressing of the album.
Okay.
They didn't credit the composer. Oh, wait a minute, got it mixed up. Paul says they didn't credit the composer, and that's why they got sued. Nigel says they didn't credit Barbarian on the early pressings of the album. And then David Harris says they didn't give him proper credit either. So that's what seems to be coming through.
Okay. That's, yeah, you know, if you're going to be using somebody else's music, you got to always think about that.
Well, you know, I always heard that ELP used to get a hold of the composers, a lot of these composers, and would send them a tape of, or they would come down and they would talk about how they wanted to use the song and what they would change about it. And they wanted their permission and often got it.
They didn't always get it. I know Keith was talking to Ginastera, I think down in South America, about Toccata, and he wasn't happy about Keith doing Toccata initially.
I see. Very interesting. Nigel says there's the wonderful story of Keith visiting, hold on, Ginastera to play him Toccata.
Yeah, I heard that story.
Sonic Funny Line reissue.
Okay, and Paul is correcting and saying they did later on, Dyanne. They learned from the early experiences. I love Toccata, by the way. You know, Toccata was the very first prog song, the very first prog music I ever heard from any band. Was my boyfriend saying, "You've never heard prog? You don't know Pink Floyd and Genesis and ELP and Yes?" And I go, "No, I listened to my 45, my little radio that does the local rock music. I sing what I like. What I like, I go out and buy the 45. And he goes, "Why aren't you buying any albums?" Well, because it costs $2.50 and a 45 costs 50 cents. And I babysit, and that was how I made my money. So therefore, I felt that I would, why do I want to buy a whole album if I'm not going to like all the songs when I like the one? So he brought these over, laid them out. I saw Igor's work. I couldn't get my eyes off of it, didn't know what it was about. And I said, "Play this." And the first thing he did was play Toccata. Blew my mind with that Moog. Blew my mind. I mean, that was something that I experienced. And for the first time, I couldn't react. I couldn't give him an answer to how it felt. So I just said, "Play more." And believe me, those 4 albums that he brought over, which was Pink Floyd, Yes, and Genesis and ELP, he did not leave with them. He was not leaving with them. Those are going to stay with me, and I was going to learn these songs. So it's all great. It's all great. Now, David says, "I was hoping you'd share that story of your first experience, Dyanne." Oh, David is saying, "I hoped you were going to share that story of your first experience." Yeah, because, you know, of all songs, he couldn't play Lucky Man. You know, he couldn't start me out with Jerusalem. He couldn't do something kind of, you know, yeah, let's not, you know, totally blow her away. No, he went right for, you know, Carl's synthesized drum solo and, you know, keep doing the Moog and, you know, all these sounds coming out that I've never heard before. I sat there stumped. And, you know, the whole thing of mine not having any albums when I sang at the time is a big issue to him. And I couldn't figure out why. I saved all my babysitting money and asked for extra chores around the house to earn a little extra quarter here or a dime here. And I finally got enough money and rode my bicycle down to Warehouse Records, if anybody knows Warehouse Records. And I went to Warehouse Records and walked in and went right to ELP BSS. And with that crazy design, and I had to have that because I wanted to learn Carnival Line so bad, because that was just the craziest song I'd ever heard in my life. I mean, I know it took the guys a while to make that and to put that all into pieces together. But a lot of people have said, you know, that third part, there's a lot of truth with the computers and man. How would they know that back then to write it like they did when it's occurring today? I find that a bit intriguing.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
My first prog record was It Did Quarter the Crimson King.
Yeah.
And I like Greg Lake from back those days too. So by the time ELP was started, you know, I was well into Greg Lake. So always liked him.
Got it. Yeah, I'll bet. And you know, David says, I'll bet each one of you guys in Manticore. Yeah, sure.
These guys are actually so much older than me, so I really can't speak. I'm kind of the baby of the group.
Well, I know I feel old every single time we start talking about how long ELP's been around, and you know how long. When did DSS come out? What's the anniversary here? And I go, oh God, I got to add the age. Oh no, because they make me feel so young. All of you guys, I mean, bring out the youth in me.
I was in high school when VSS came out.
I remember one of the first bands that I was in, and I remember trying to play Carnival 9, First Impression Part 2, on a Farfisa Combo Compact Deluxe organ with a Univox 21-pound piano stacked on top of it, and a Cat SRM synthesizer, sitting all on a stand that I had built myself. And trying to get a Farfisa to sound like a Hammond is no easy task.
Well, you've come a long way, Rob.
What's that?
I said, you've come a long way.
Now I've got a dual manual Farfisa.
Yeah.
No, I'm very glad to be able to play ELP on a big stage in front of a lot of people. That blows me away every time.
I tell you what, you blow me away every single time I hear that. I absolutely get blown away with Carnival 9. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Absolutely, you do. And
people typing.
And you know, David Harris says that he was a college freshman when BSS came up. which now makes me feel really old. Because I was like in, I don't know, 7th grade, something like that. So anyway, let me just say this. Is there anything that all of you guys, John and Rob and Robert, is there anything that we haven't covered, like tours or anything that you still want to talk about? Because I don't want to miss a thing. Trust me, I don't, and I know our members and our audience do not want to miss a thing.
I think what we would love is if anyone knows of any great concert halls or theaters in their area that would like to have us come
I
down,
got you
it
covered.
would be awesome. Yeah, just send us notes, give us some information. We'll contact them, and we'll try to get into your neighborhoods.
I would love it. Well, you know, Belly Up, Carl Palmer and Legacy played there, and so did Rachel Flowers.
Rachel is amazing. She just.
Bring him in. Yes.
I get goosebumps when I listen to her play. She's just amazing.
Oh yeah. I'm getting my PM out right away. I think that would be incredible. I'm going to get my PM out to you right away with pictures of the club. I'm going to give you so much information. In fact, there are 2 clubs that are amazing. And one is in Oceanside, which is my hometown, and one is in just a little bit south. So.
Okay, well, send the information out, and we'll see what we can do with it.
Yep.
Maybe you could go do a little diving or a little deep sea fishing while you're there, you know, because we're about 4 miles from the beach. Or go suntan, you know. But yeah, definitely got to get you down here. I'm going to one way. I don't care if I have to call the club myself.
We'll get a GoFundMe page going.
And don't think I'm not serious. I will tell them that I'll show them all your photos, all your promo stuff, everything, and then I'll say, now they are as good as you can. I mean, Collective Soul played there. This is a club that is really, it's perfect. It's perfect. So I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Right.
Is there anything I can that you'd like to say in closing?
Start with Bob.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for being our guest. With the members of Titan, we all say thank you humbly for taking the time to come to our little family here, and we appreciate each one of you. Thank you. No, the thank yous go out from us because we love you, and we all love Manticore. To have you here on our site live like this, to ask questions or to just listen, this gets people more in tune and more in touch with Manticore, especially if we're not on the East Coast. So I appreciate. And don't you ever start twirling those drumsticks over there, you know, because
It's
you
the
do that
problem.
very, very well.
The problem. An uncontrollable problem.
Thank you very, very much.
I want to thank you for
I know,
having us.
right?
Yeah, and you know, just to say for myself, I'm thrilled to be part of the ELP family here. So it's awesome. Thank you.
You guys are. You guys all better be members now. I'm gonna go check. No, I know you are. I know you are. I know you are. And you know what? We love you. We thank you for all this time that you have shared with us. I mean, seriously, and you're very welcome. But again, I feel that we are the ones that are so grateful. You are a part of our ELP family. The Titans, I always have thought of us as a family of ELP fans, not just a list of members, but each person that joins is part of a very special family. And we love seeing it grow. And the more that grows, the more attention that we can give. We hope that you'll come back at some point in time here, maybe before July, and sit down with us and give us a little information about what's coming in July with your streaming. And we will look forward to seeing the Jerusalem video. Everybody's going to go check out that the sheriff video, and you will be in for an amazing treat. Trust me, and I'm not going to spoil anything. And you guys are just the best. I'm not going to take up any more of your time because I know you have things to do. I could talk forever, obviously, but thank you.
Well, thanks a lot,
Thank you,
Dyanne.
each and every one of you. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, John.
Thank you for having us. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was fun. We are all part of a club now.
And remember,
Pound, pound.
thanks, guys.
Anyway, take care.
All right, thanks again.
We love you. We honor you. And we appreciate everything that you do and put in.
Well,
And on
thanks.
that note,
And John and Bob,
I'm
I'll see
going
you
to
at rehearsal
say-
on Wednesday.
We'll be
oh,
there.
look at what you have. Oh, what is that? What is that? Is that just that? Is that part of your drum?
Oh, what? What you talking about? You talking about what, this? This?
Yeah, I mean, that looked actually pretty cool. Anyway,
It's our station
all
break.
right. Station break, station end, and we will all see each other at another time.
All right. Thanks
Bye.
again.
Perfect.
Bye.
All
Okay,
right, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Take care and be safe.